Scorpio, and welcome to TenPaths Tarot. My name is Everett, and Spirit has a very interesting message for you today. This is about someone to whom family is important and who is at a crossroads as to what they want to do. They started out, and I'm reading in reverse order today because that is how Spirit has been speaking to me today, going from the last card back to the first. So the last card that was given to me was the Hermit. Now this Hermit looks very determined. He is on a quest and he feels all alone. But he is determined. He has such a determined look that he is going to find what he is seeking. That could be something physical. That could be something spiritual. Usually when we think of hermits, we think of people on a spiritual quest. But they can just be trying to get a different perspective of life. And next we have the World card. So I have to assume that this quest was successful. At least for a time, they felt complete and as though the world was theirs. They had more bounty than they needed and could spill it down to the earth. But then something happened. And I'm not sure what. I'm getting different vibrations. There could be several people this message is for with slight alterations. And so then something happened. Either they returned to bad habits or simply physical life got in the way. We are tied to this physical existence while we're here on earth. And so sometimes we try to forget about that. I just want to be emotional. I just want to be spiritual. And for a time we can be, but we're still tied to things here on earth. And so the next card is the Devil card. And the Devil usually talks about our bad habits or the things we do that are less than constructive while here on earth. And that's why I say there could have been a return to bad habits, or the next card is the Eight of Pentacles. Maybe we just became so focused on work or involved in our work or the hope of creating something physical for our lives that we forgot about everything else. Look how intent he is. Look how intent. And what I'm wondering, the oracle card that came out was Open Your Heart. And this talks a lot about family. We have the swan. The swan is so protective of its family. And there is a significant other next to the main figure. There are children in the works. There's an egg with children in them. And so somewhere along the way, this family came along. And I'm wondering if that, for a time, made us feel like we had the world, but then the realities set in, and then the family became all about work and survival. And it may have left us feeling drained. And so now we're at a crossroad. We want to be free. And we're thinking, maybe I should just leave. And I'm not saying that no one should leave their family. If there is heavy abuse, if that is some of where these bad habits are coming from. One of the oracle cards you got today, there were two, was the Tomahawk, which tells us there's things we have to cut out. Now, what are those things? That may be different for each person. If you're in a seriously toxic relationship and you can walk away from it, the Tomahawk advises that you do just that. However, some people just are imagining how it would be nice to feel this free again. And maybe just imagining that is enough to get them started in a new direction, to chop away that old way of thinking that everything has to be about work and survival, and to start weaving their love into their everyday life. So that is another way we might want to chop something out. We might want to chop back some of that focus we've had and focus on what we could bring to this beautiful family. And maybe it's been so long since we've had time to develop ourselves, we forget what that's like. But she is sitting at her loom and she has started to weave, and she is weaving a great net of love. This is the Seven of Mirrors, with mirrors representing strong emotion and love. There is a crack in one of the mirrors. There has been hard times, or a hard time. There has been something unsettling, but she isn't discarding all of the mirrors because one is cracked. She has decided to go on. So you could cut yourself away, or you could decide to go on. Well, if we decide to go on, how do we progress from there? And then you have the Page of Spirals, with spirals representing our dreams and desires. And you can see this page has an elfin quality. It wants to prance, it wants to play, and maybe that's a sign for us to go ahead and allow some playfulness back in our life. Maybe that's how we start releasing the love. If you have children, you know that they're mostly going to remember the times you laughed with them and the times when you lovingly showed them how to do things, when you sat with them, when you spent time with them. And children love to play. Maybe it's time to bring some of that playfulness back into your life. And remember, adults like to play too. And so maybe if you have a significant other and it's a basically happy relationship, maybe it's time to start bringing some of that playfulness back. If you feel like being silly, be silly. Make your significant other laugh. That will help remind them of what it was like. And next you have the Ace of Mirrors, more love, love overflowing. And around it is swimming all of this wonderful sea life, with the sea being more love. So now you're swimming in an ocean of love brought on by that renewed playfulness. It's okay to work sometimes, but you have to know when to put that aside. That cannot be us all of the time. We are tied to life here on earth. I know that we need things to survive. I also know that to thrive, we need to feel love and emotion, and we need that spiritual connection. And so we might want to cut all of this away. For most people, that could be a mistake, according to this reading. I'm not going to say it is if you have an abusive spouse, if you're in an abusive situation, but sometimes we're tempted to cut things away, but that could just be one broken mirror. one broken mirror out of many. And look at all of the love she still has to give. And so that is Spirit's message for you today. And I hope it has helped in some way. My name is Everett, and I hope to see you again. Bye for now.